So, good afternoon and welcome to the Lake District in England. I've headed up here for a bit of a solo adventure today. I'm going to be stopping overnight tonight. I won't be wild camping though today. So I've come to Catbells. You've probably seen it at the start of the video. Something sort of steady way really. It's quite steep, short but steep I understand. Never done it before. It's meant to be fantastic views from the top. So without further ado, I'm going to crack on. Look at this. Already I'm treated to these amazing views. As you can see, I've hardly climbed anywhere yet. So I've got a bit of a way to go to the summit. So I'm approaching it from the north side, from Hawes End. I managed to find a cheeky little parking spot, no double yellow lines. So I'm out of breath. I'm carrying a pack today, which is weighing about 10 kilos. Got some camera kit in it. There's a couple of kilos at least in that, maybe 2.5. I've got 2 litres of water. That's another 2 kilos. And what else have I got in this pack? A couple of flapjacks, fruit flapjacks I bought on the way up to fuel me as I go along. Whilst I was driving here on the approach to the Lake District on the A66 North, you get an idea because you can see the mountains off in the distance as you come up that motorway type road, and you can see where the cloud base is at that point. So Catbells that I'm climbing now is, it's about 1400 feet, so it's about, I think it's 451 metres, so it is steep. But there's some scrambling just up here which I'm going to show you, and whilst I'm doing that I'm going to need my hands free, so I'll be switching off the camera, securing my walking poles and then scrambling my way up. So I'll take us up to the scrambling point so you can see, and a bit at that point I pause to bring you back. But before I do that, as I climb, the views are getting more and more stunning. Look at this, look at that, absolutely gorgeous. So as I pan left, you'll see like a town off in the distance. That's Keswick, the town of Keswick, beautiful town. If you ever considered coming to the lakes and you're thinking about where to stay in the lakes, I'd highly recommend it. I've stayed there several times with the missus and with mates and stuff over the years, and it's a great little town. Good places to eat and drink. They've got an Alp kit store there and some other outdoor stores. Most of your other outdoor stores are like your high street ones, but Alp kit is kind of high street, but there aren't many of them around. And for years it was just the Keswick one in the north of England. But there's one in Ilkley in Yorkshire now, which is closer to me, but just not as well kitted out, I don't think, as the one in Keswick. So do check it out if you're there. I don't work for them, by the way, and I'm not getting any commission off them or anything like that, but I do like their kit, so I do use a little bit of their kit for some things. Right, I'm getting to the scrambly bit now, which is here. It's really difficult to appreciate how steep this is on camera, but it's very steep. So this is where I need to be really switched on, and I'm going to switch the camera off and I'm going to bring it back when I get to the top. Right, I'm just going to work out exactly where I am on this map. So the OS positioning is showing me it's still on the ridge, and in actual fact, I'll show you in a moment, the next hill along, which I thought was Maiden isn't. That's the summit of Catbells. That's according to this map in here. I'll just show you it. I don't know if you can see that. You can make any detail on that out. Like I say, I'll take a screenshot of that as well. So I'm about, it's saying 338 metres at this point. So I'll screenshot that and I'll put it all into the video later on, so you'll see that when I edit it up later on. Alright, I'll bring you back. About to make the last bit of the ascent up to the summit of Catbells. I'll let you have a look at what I'm facing. Oh look, oh look, see that? Dust devil, see it? That's pretty cool. I don't know if you could make that out on the footage, but I'm shooting in 4K, so hopefully it's picked that up. That was quite cool. It's quite warm now. The wind's dropped off and it was about 16 degrees centigrade, that is, when I set off from the car. I think it's about 18 and 19 easily now. So just starting the ascent now. I'll let you have a look. That's where I'm going. Hopefully you can make out some details of the pathway. So I'm going to follow that line up there that those guys have followed. I think the walking poles might have to go away, or I might just run with one of them, although I have been holding them both in one hand to get up, so I've got one hand free usually, but I certainly won't be using the camera so much on the way up. The views just get better and better. Right, there was a really scrambly bit just past, but if I'm honest, I took a loop round, and that's the rest of it up there. That bit is going to be a scramble, so I think I'm going to end up needing both hands to do that. Look at the views as I climb. They just get more and more spectacular the higher you climb. The wind's dropped right off at the minute, which is good. So when I get nearer to this really scrambly bit, I'll be putting the camera away, and I'm going to need both hands, so I'll be focused on that, and then I'll bring you back afterwards. Here we go. Look at that. The summit of Catbells. There's the sundial. 360. Traditional touching of the trig point. But I'm just going to pop the tripod down here on the trig point, so you can just while talking to camera really. So the top of Catbells is where let's have a look. I can't really see a lot on the screen here. Let me just see if I can make a bit more out. So the kind of here, there is Keswick town. Kind of here is Blencathra, and just hang on, kind of like there is Skiddaw. And the boys at work, you'll recognise these here, Andy will anyway, Ulp Pike, Carlside, Dodd Hill, and we came down that, I won't swear, because it's going to be going online, but we came down that horrible hill there and knocked our cruciate ligaments, well, tired them out, strained them, and our thighs while walking around like we'd soiled ourselves for days, which was awesome, I'm sure you'll all agree. Wind's dropped right off. It's just an absolutely stunning day. It's absolutely beautiful. Definitely worth going up here. It's recommended to me by Andy Bayliss, Mountain Leader Bayliss as we call him. Over there are the Langdale Pikes, and if Rich Mabbott, fellow northern bushman, is watching, he will recognise us from when we hiked up there year before last, and we camped by Stickletown, did a wild camp by Stickletown. It's definitely on the cards to do that again. I'd like to do that this year if I'm honest, if we can fit it in. Just time, isn't it, between work and that, but I've got to make time and just do it. And then over there, kind of there, you see the little jagged peak coming between the two sort of mounds. I believe that's Helvellyn. So yeah, there you go. Stunning. Highly recommend you coming here. Spoke to a few, about 2 or 3 American folk on the way up, and had a little bit of a chat about some of the mountains and what they are around us, because I didn't know, but they were just enjoying the hike up and over Catbells. They've come the opposite way around to me, but it's nice to talk to friendly folk. Get the jet boil out, have a brew, have a bit of flapjack, get the proper camera out, take some shots, and then I'll be heading back down. I've got about another hour and a half's hike back to the car. Right, I'm heading down off the peak now, off the summit of Catbells. I'm going to head down. I'm looking for a pathway. It's going to take me alongside the lake. I think it could be quite a steep descent at this side, so let's have a look. Let's make our way down. I'm heading back down now, heading towards Maiden Moor in a minute, but I'm not going to do Maiden Moor today, I'm going to do that another time. Spent quite a bit of time on top, just sort of taking some shots with the Fuji. I always like to take the Fuji with me, or a Sony camera, and sort of squeeze a lot of information. I know mobile phones are good, but if I thought that I could spend £1,000, £1,300 on a mobile phone to take all my shots for weddings and landscapes and all that sort of thing, I would. But I don't. I choose not to, and there's a reason for that. And I'm not being derogatory to mobile phones and the like, because I shoot on my mobile phone as well when it's convenient. Well, it is convenient, isn't it? It's always in your pocket. And I've got a Sony Xperia 1, the first version of the Xperia 1, but it still doesn't compare to my 2 Sonys or the Fujis. So I do some corporate stuff and I shoot weddings as well. And then in terms of my passion, So the hobby side of it for me, I love street photography, absolutely love it. Anything to do with sort of documentary style photography, which is what street photography is really, documenting everyday life. I absolutely love it. Like I say, your mobile phone's great because it's in your pocket, so you've got it with you all the time. But ultimately, they've got tiny sensors in them of the mobile phone cameras, and I know Sony have created a mobile phone camera with a 1-inch sensor, but it's still not as big as the sensors that I've got in my two Sony. One's a full pro camera and one's a semi-pro camera. One of them's got an APS-C sized sensor in it, and the other one has got a full frame sensor. The reason why I might go for a full frame sensor, that's the most expensive one out of them all, is because they're better in low light. So if I'm shooting, say, in a church and the priest or vicar doesn't want me to use a flash in a church, then the Sony cameras for me are the best in low light, which is why I keep Sony cameras. And the autofocus is just blistering really. So that's why I keep those two. And then from a Fuji point of view, you might think, well, why have the Fujis? So they all do different things. There's no such thing as a perfect camera. So they all do different things well. So I've brought the Fuji today just to get to the point with that. I brought the Fuji today. It's a Fuji X-T2, which is actually like a 7-year-old model now. It's obviously, mine's not 7 years old, but the model came out in 2016. However, Fuji kept improving it and improving it over time, which is what they do with their products. But the colour science in the Fujis is fantastic. The way the camera works, it's all on dials. It's all at your fingertips, and it's very intuitive for somebody like myself anyway, who facility to have everything at my fingertips. Just hang on, it's a bit tricky. That should be alright now. Yeah, so that attracts me to them, but also the colour science. Now you can shoot in film modes on the Fujis. You get some really pleasant tones and colours from film type shots or film simulations. And Fuji are the only camera system that I know of at the moment. Although Ricoh might have started doing it actually with the GR range. I think they might have started doing some film simulations, but I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. But Fuji were the original ones, started doing the film simulations. They used to make their own photographic film, still do, still do make some photographic films, and the simulations are very, very close to original film. There's no such thing as a bad camera anymore if you're buying from one of the major brands like Sony, Nikon, Canon, Fuji. However, it just comes down to what you need it to do. It's a tool at the end of the day. If anybody has any questions about that, if it does interest anybody at all, then just hit me up with some questions and I'll answer them. I'm hoping not to have to get the map out, but I might have to shortly. I can't quite see where the path runs off from here. So I'm going to focus on this now and I'll bring you back in a bit. So we get down this, quite steep, I've got my poles, but look at the view still. It's just absolutely stunning here, just love it. I could live up here, really. It's just awesome. What you are going to find is that as you get more into the outdoors, you'll take shots with your camera and they'll be good, but then when you try and sort of edit them and squeeze as much as you can out of them, you'll start to find the limitations of your camera in your phone. That's when you might want to start getting a dedicated camera, like a mirrorless, or say a DSLR. I've moved away from DSLRs now just because of the sheer size and weight of them. You might just better make out the sound of a cuckoo. Can you hear it? Hopefully you can. So far it's been awesome. The weather started to turn a little bit on the top. Very dark cloud came over and brought a bit of wind with it. I thought it was going to turn, but it didn't. It held out. So, been very lucky with the weather. I'm now travelling south to north. Quite a steep descent coming down off of Catbells. It's a ridge between Catbells and Maiden Moor that you come down. Yeah, it was pretty steep, so I did feel that in the thighs and the cruciate ligaments, but it wasn't that long, so, and the poles really helped, if I'm honest. I did transfer quite a bit of the work to the poles, so my arms, shoulders did quite a bit of work, as well as my legs, so that's helped. So hopefully I won't be walking like I've pooed myself later on, but we'll see. My foot's holding up alright, because some of you'll know who watch the channel that I've been dealing with a foot injury from a Mamtor incident, let's call it. 70 mile an hour-ish, plus maybe winds. I think it was February time, or it might be beginning of March, I forget now. But yeah, I injured my foot trying to wedge my foot between a couple of paving stones just to hold on, really. But it's also being outdoors and going on adventures. There's a lot of responsibility, especially even if you're on your own like I am now. You might not be responsible for others, but you are still responsible for yourself, and there are other people that care about you and that love you and want you to be around for a long time, so you've got responsibility, you know, to look after yourself for them, as well as for yourself. So if you have to bug out or take an easier route or whatever, rest, you know, on the way up, on an ascent or whatever it is you might be doing, just do it. Don't get sucked into all this male bravado bullshit, which is what I've grown up with, just because of the generation that I'm from, I suppose. But I think that's probably one of the more toxic parts in some respects. It can be funny, it can be good fun, don't get me wrong. I'm not one of these sort of ultra modern men that, like, you know, thinks that there shouldn't be any competition or anything like that. That to me, my own opinion, is bullshit. That, of course, there needs to be competition. Know when to take the easier route. You know, it's not worth it. You want to live to tell the tale, don't you? And you also don't want to be so badly injured that you can't continue to have more adventures. So just keep all that in mind. And that's what I think when I go well camping, when I do things like this, a solo hike. I know my wife does worry about me when I go off on my own to do stuff, and there's one of my mates that I go with that we've ended up in a few situations, let's just say, very challenging situations when we've been wild camping, and she worries when I go wild camping with him. But we both know what we're doing, he more so than me even, because he's got a lot more experience, and yeah, we know when to bug out, and we look after each other, and that's what's really important. Anyway, enough said about that. Right, let's have a look at the views now, because it's just a bit of a reveal coming round for you here as I come round this corner. I have to say, it's just been an absolutely stunning walk. Absolutely loved it. Look at this. As we're round this corner, so you can see, right, hang on, let's get the poles together. So over there, just there, that's Blencathra. Over there is Skiddaw. Yeah, so we're starting to come back into view now. Just to the left of Skiddaw, what you'll see is, for those of you that watched the recent Lakes video where I went away with some pals from work and we did Oak Pike and Carlside, well, you can just see to the left of Skiddaw, which is like about here, there's a trail coming down off the hill. That's the trail we came down, which takes you down to Dodwood. That trail is very, very steep, and it was torture coming down there, but the experience was great, and been with a great bunch of lads to experience it was all the main part of it, really. So yeah, look at it, it's just wherever you go, it's nice little reveals of fantastic scenery, it just gets better and better. A big shout out and a thank you to Andy Bayliss for recommending this walk to me. said of all the ones that he's done, Catbells is his favourite because of the views, and it's just, you know, it just treats you throughout, and I'm seeing why now. Because this is absolutely stunning. So I'm in the low fells of Catbells now. Not too far from the end now. So mixed it up with a bit of Nordic walking style stuff with the poles, just to get the arms pumping and the shoulders, the upper arms and the shoulders. A bit of forearm workout as well. Anyway, as you can see, the views have revealed themselves again. Looking towards Skiddaw on my left hand side, over Blancathra over to the right hand side. With sharp edge, you can just see, almost looks like a sharp edge, strangely enough. So if you're watching from overseas and you've ever thought about coming to the UK for a holiday, you have to visit the Lake District. But I'd also recommend North Wales, Mid Wales, Highlands of Scotland, the Yorkshire Dales. But top of the list for me, got to be the lakes and Scotland as well. Yeah, definitely. So here we are, coming right to the end now of the walk. Just coming up to the start point where I first picked up the trail on the left hand side. You can see my car still there, that's a good sign. So here we go, look, just here where the sheep's coming down. That's where I started, that was the start point. I know that I ended up accidentally stopping my overall workout up at the top, so it's in two measurements, and the first one was about 1.5 miles and this one's showing 2.5, so it's about 4 miles, about a 4 mile walk. A bit of technicality in it. It's listed as a moderately difficult walk, and I'd agree with that. Just enough really, a really enjoyable walk. It's not one of those where I feel absolutely beasted. I feel pretty good. I'm tired, but nicely tired, if that makes sense. So let me just show you what I can see over this wall here, look. Look at that. It's just, isn't it just breathtaking? It's absolutely beautiful. So I'll head back to the car. I'm almost there now. Thank you for joining me on this little solo adventure. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you sat and listened through all my waffle as I was walking around, then congratulations, you've done well. If you didn't, then that's fine as well. But hopefully you enjoyed the overall video with the views. Right, that's it. Back of the car. Thanks again. Like, subscribe, share with your friends and all that good stuff. Comment if you've got anything that you want to say, ask or whatever. Don't forget the photography stuff, the landscape photography. If you've got any questions around that as well, I'm happy to do a little bit on that as well for you guys. In a bit. Bye.